a comprehensive look at trends, fund profiles, and more in Exploring ETFs.
Hi everyone, welcome to Exploring ETFs. I'm Neena Mishra, and today we are talking about the metaverse and stocks and ETF that would benefit from the metaverse. And the term metaverse, or the next generation of the internet as it is widely known, has been in public discourse for the past few weeks in particular, since Facebook rebranded itself as Meta Platforms. And Microsoft also last week outlined its plan to introduce its 250 million users of Teams software to the metaverse. That would mean that workers can attend meetings, they can interact, hang out with their colleagues, or even visit digital twins of their offices and factories. So it seems metaverse is no longer something which is seen only in sci-fi movies, but has the potential to become a significant investment opportunity in the coming years. In fact, Bloomberg Intelligence expects the market opportunity for the metaverse to reach $800 billion by 2024. And ultimately, it could become a multi-trillion dollars market. According to NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, metaverse is going to be a new economy that is larger than our current economy. So obviously there's a lot of interest in the metaverse, but what exactly is the metaverse? So metaverse is a virtual 3D world where people interact via their digital avatars, and many of us have already had these immersive experiences through online social games like Fortnite, or virtual concerts that are hosted by video game companies like Roblox. But ultimately, it could mean attending a work meeting, or for a doctor to be able to help their patients remotely, or engineers to be able to do a remote fix in a manufacturing line in a time of crisis, or even visiting with your family members or friends, or playing games with them as if you are actually there. Now, this term metaverse was coined by Neil Stephenson in his 1992 sci-fi movie Snow Crash. And we know that a number of tech companies and video game makers are developing their own metaverses. And ultimately, it could mean that we will move between different metaverses, and that would be something like switching between websites. As of today, there would not be one single company controlling the metaverse. Now, if you want to learn more about the metaverse, I think you should go to some of the websites. Some of the coolest things that I have seen is on Facebook. When Mark Zuckerberg introduced his vision for the metaverse, that's pretty cool. Microsoft has some pretty cool description of what is the metaverse and what are the business opportunities and other opportunities from the metaverse. So please take a look at that video. And one of the coolest things that I have seen recently is this NVIDIA video where a virtual Jensen Huang talks from his virtual kitchen, and no one was able to make out. In fact, NVIDIA disclosed after a few weeks that it was all virtual. This is pretty cool. And NVIDIA is currently hosting the GTC conference today, and they have some really cool stuff. So please visit that. That will give you a good idea about the metaverse. Now, how to profit from the metaverse? There is only one ETF currently that invests exclusively in companies that are involved in the metaverse. There's another ETF filing which is there, so that ETF may launch later this year. Now, let's take a look at this ETF. It is by Roundhill. Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF. Ticker symbol is Meta. And interestingly, when Facebook changed its name to Meta, this ETF got a lot of interest and got of inflows too, because people got confused between this and Meta as in Facebook. So for this ETF, stocks are selected by a committee. They are tier weighted. It has an expense ratio of 75 basis points. And this is very new, launched in June. So AUM is 234 million as of now. Now, to learn more about this ETF, please go to the quote page on Zacks.com. I, in fact, did a podcast with the person who is behind this ETF, Matthew Ball. He's an expert in the metaverse, so you should listen to that podcast. That is pretty interesting. And you can go to the external web page, Roundhill web page for this ETF, and you will see what it invests in. So companies that are involved in computing, networking, virtual platforms, payments, etc. Looking at the top holdings, you will see that NVIDIA is the top holding. Now, NVIDIA is a leader in best quality chips, the GPUs that are used in AI computing. So that is why it is a leader in AI, and NVIDIA's chips will be used a lot in the metaverse. So that is why NVIDIA is the top holding in the ETF. Then Microsoft, which is also developing, working on the metaverse. Roblox, which is surging over 30% today after reporting their results yesterday. And Facebook, these are the top holdings in the ETF. And since there's only one ETF, if you want, you can take a look at the stocks too, because these stocks are poised to benefit from the metaverse. NVIDIA, as I mentioned, is a leader in AI chips, cutting edge technology chips. So these will provide the picks and shovel for the metaverse. So that is why NVIDIA stock has been soaring this year, over the past few years, and particularly over the past few weeks. It's currently Zacks rank number 2 stock. Interestingly, NVIDIA was my top pick of the week on October 18th when it was trading on at around $220, and at that time I had mentioned that NVIDIA would be one of the biggest beneficiaries of the metaverse. So it has surged since then again. AMD also is one of the leaders in cutting edge chips. They signed an agreement with Facebook or Meta platforms, which was disclosed yesterday. So the stock had surged more than 11% yesterday. And this is also a Zacks rank number 2 stock. Microsoft, another, which would be another leader in the metaverse, it's currently a Zacks rank number 3 stock. And Meta platforms, we know that Facebook has been in trouble because of those explosive revelations by a former employee. So the stock has been under pressure, but it has rebounded since they outlined their plans for the metaverse. Now, on the last slide, I have the comparative performance of all these companies since launch of Meta ETF for the purpose of comparison. And that was end of June. And since then, NVIDIA is up more than 50%. Microsoft is up more than 25%. The S&P 500 index has also done pretty well. We know that stocks continue to rise. The index is up about 10%. The Meta ETF is up about 5%. It has a lot of exposure to China too. So probably that is one of the reasons which weighed on its performance. And Facebook or Meta platforms is actually down since then. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out zacks.com/promo for an interesting offer, and also make sure to subscribe to our videos, our video channels, so that you do not miss anything. And I will see you next week.